Hey everyone, I am back from 2 great weekends of snowmobiling out west. I was home for a couple days, able to regroup. I am now heading up to Michigan's Upper Peninsula, otherwise known as the UP, to get some more snowmobiling in. So I'm going to meet 2 different groups up here. My friends Scott and Dale that I rode with up here last year, they're going to be up here. And also coming from Northeast Ohio, my brother-in-law Doug, his son or my nephew Cody, and a couple of their friends are going to be up here. So I got 2 different groups. We're all heading up to Newberry, Michigan, and I'm going to be staying at a new place called Barry's Cabins, and going to ride with these guys. I don't think we're all going to ride together. That's going to be a lot of people. I think I'll ride with one group one day, maybe another group another, and then kind of pick and choose, and hopefully get some off-trail riding up here. But anyways, I got the Riot in the back of the truck here and reclutched and ready to go. But before I headed to Michigan, I had a couple things I had to fix on my snowmobile. I broke one of my ice scratchers when I was in Utah loading the sled up. And what these do is, these are for hard packed trails. You'll see these mostly on longer track snowmobiles and the mountain sleds. And you put these down and these will pull up snow and ice and bring it up and blow it up into your heat exchanger up there. So snowmobiles don't have a radiator. They have this heat exchanger, and snow getting up on there is what keeps your engine cool. So I fixed that. Then I had to change my clutch weights. I was running a lighter clutch weight when I was out there. Now, technically, you're supposed to pull your clutch off the machine, I guess, and do this on a bench, but I'm improvising here. Of course, I've been working on farm equipment stuff for many years, and improvising has been a big part of that. So there's 6 bolts that hold the outside of the clutch on. I'm going to take 3 of them off. This piece here is under spring pressure, so we're going to just back these out a little bit at a time after I got the other 3 out, and then we'll get the outside of the clutch off here. Now, these clutches are balanced, so you want to make sure you mark this, or there's a marking on there, because this has to go on the exact same way it come off, or your clutch could get out of balance. So we're going to get this off of here, get the spring out, and then that way I can move my spider back and forth. I can get to my clutch weights pretty easy. I do have to take the belt off, so in the secondary clutch here, I'm going to run this tool in, and this will pull that shiv apart, and I can get my belt off. Now, Arctic Cat didn't always have this set up here, but this sure makes it a lot nicer for removing or putting a new belt on your snowmobile. So we'll get this thing wrestled off of here. These belts are also a directional belt, so there's an arrow on the outside here, so you need to make sure you put it on the same way. There's 3 clutch weights on the primary clutch, so I'm going to change these out here. So there's a bolt that goes through there with a lock nut on the other end. There's a washer, and then you got these 2 little shims. I call them right in there. It's also handy to have a magnet around for when you go to take this apart. So what I'll do is I'll stick a magnet on here, slide the bolt out, and then I can catch the little shims or the keepers with the magnet. Now, when I got home from out west, I unloaded my snowmobile. I parked it in my backyard. I didn't run it in the shed, and we had a nice sunny 30-degree day here, so I just elected to do this outside since it was bright and sunny. My Arctic Cat Riot comes standard with a 74-gram weight right there, and then when I went out west, I switched and run a lighter one, and I ran the 68 grams. So I got everything back together. So once you get this all back together, you want to tighten this outside of the clutch down evenly all the way around. And you see those paint marks there, so that's my alignment I was going by. And there's the arrow on the belt, so it's a directional belt. So make sure we get that on right, and we'll get the belt slipped on here and loosen up the clutch tool here on the secondary clutch and just get my belt worked in there evenly, and we'll start it up and give it a whirl. The clutches on your snowmobile are just a pretty simple system. You got your primary clutch on the crankshaft or power takeoff side of the engine, and then you got your secondary clutch here. So as you give your engine throttle, your primary clutch squeezes together, engages the secondary clutch, and as you increase throttle, that changes your speed back and forth on your clutches as your shift size changes. Now, if you watched my snowmobile video when I was out in Idaho, I was coming down around and I got sucked into a tree well, and my ski got pretty well pushed straight up and down, and I tore this ski dampener. That's pretty common. This ski dampener just sets in there and just keeps your ski stabilized, and since I was going to be trail riding, I definitely wanted to get this fixed. So anyways, picked up a couple new ski dampeners. I still have a spare, so we'll take the ski off here and we'll replace that. This is a pretty common replacement part amongst, especially guys that ride out west in the trees and whatnot. Now, there is some aftermarket companies that make some that are guaranteed not to tear. However, I don't think that company makes one for Arctic Cat. Here's a quick look at the new one and the one that's tore. I'm on the road, and I am crossing the state line from Ohio into Michigan. Still have a little over 5 hours to go, but hey, I got Sirius XM, got the turbo on to keep me pumped up, and that's getting me excited to go snowmobiling. As I progressed north into northern Michigan, there was more snow for sure, but just looking at some of the trails in the lower, although they have this much snow on the ground, the trails were tore up. But they say there's good riding in the UP, so I'm getting ready to go across the Mackinac Bridge here. The speed limit is 45 miles per hour, and you know, I sometimes have a heavy foot, but on the bridge, places like that, I'm just going to set my cruise and do the speed limit. Looks like we got a little bit of a convoy coming across here. The Mackinac Bridge really is a sight to see. So on the lower side, that's Mackinac City. As you cross the bridge, you come into St. Ignace. And over to the right of the bridge, that is Mackinac Island. And you can only get there by boat or snowmobile. And hope to ride out there this week. We'll have to see what happens. That is on the plan. I've never rode across there, but they say the ice is good. They got the Christmas tree bridge up, so hopefully we'll get over there one day. I am just coming into the city limits of Newberry, Michigan, here in the upper, and they got some decent snow. This hotel up here on the right is where I stayed last year. All right, so I'm all checked in here at Barry's Cabins. I got a room to myself here with 2 beds, which is good because I got a lot of gear with me and so forth. So get everything laid out here. It's probably going to be dark here in about a half hour. Guys I'm going to meet up with already took off, so I am going to unload my snowmobile. They said they're going to ride up to the falls, so head up there and maybe meet up with them. I had a pretty good night's rest here at Barry's Cabin, so got my bed made, went down to a restaurant up the road here called Zeller's, met my brother-in-law up there, we had breakfast, so it sounds like there's going to be 9 of us riding today. So went to dinner last night, met up with my friends Scott, Dale, and Kent, and the other crew was out riding last night. They got here about an hour and a half before me, and anyways, we stood outside, and I had a case of Miller Lite, and I asked everyone if they wanted a beer. Well, 5 guys and 24 cans of beer. It disappeared pretty fast. So got a good night's sleep, and yeah, got my water and got everything ready here. Gonna go out and get the sled warmed up, and we should be in for a good day of riding. All right, so I added my 2-stroke oil, diesel exhaust fluid. We'll go over here and take a look at the CVT transmission. Make sure everything's looking good in here. Yeah, the old CVT's looking pretty good there. Coolant's good. Should be ready to roll. And most importantly, My Michigan 22 sticker. Got the old Wyoming sticker on there from last year, and my Idaho and Utah stickers. Well, I never got those put on because they had to mail them to me. All right, I think we're about ready to hit it. So we got 5 of us right now. We're going to meet up with, or 6 of us. We got 6 of us right now. We're going to meet up with 3 others at the gas station, and we're going to be in for a good day. So let's see what everyone's riding here. They look kind of similar. Let's go meet the rest of the crew here. See what they're riding. Got another Yami. Got an old MXZ 700. All right, this is my brother-in-law Doug. This is my nephew Cody. That's Phil, Darren, and Isaac, right?
Yep.
All right. They're all from Northeast Ohio, where I come from, so ought to be a good day here. All right, we got the rest of the gang here. All right, I'm back here with Dale and Scott. Dale's on his Renegade Enduro, Scott's on his Renegade, and we got a new rider here that I've never rode with. We got Kent, and he's riding an 850 Indy. Once we got all 9 of us together, we headed down the trail. We left Newberry, we headed down towards Curtis. There was a snowmobile dealer we stopped at down there, looked around, then we rode across the lake, got back on the trail. We made our way towards Shingleton to the Bear Trap Inn for lunch. Now, Michigan has a ton of snowmobile trails, and when you come to Michigan riding, it is mostly trail riding. Now, there is plenty of places here to get off the trail, do a little playing, but when the snow's like this, it's not deep like out west where it's, 8-10 feet deep. So when there's just a couple feet of snow here, you really got to watch because there's a lot of tree stumps out here, logs, rocks, that kind of stuff, so you just got to be careful. We got down to the town of Seney and needed to wheel in and get some gas. We're just rolling in here to the Bear Trap Inn. It was a little bit after 1 o'clock, so a little bit of a late lunch, but this is definitely a snowmobile hotspot. Lots of people like to stop here and get something to eat and drink. So we'll all just get back in here, get our sleds lined up, and go have some dinner. Back in 2017, the last time my son Andrew and I snowmobiled up here in Michigan together, we was in here for lunch as well. I'm quite sure I was saying something very important right now, but my camera was on the wrong setting. Anyways, inside here, we'll have a little look around before we head back out and hit the trail. The goal after lunch now is we're going to make it up to Grand Marais, then we're going to come down around to Pine Stump, have supper, and then ride into Newberry. And in other videos, I talk about always having my GoPro too low, looking down at the windshield and the handlebars. Now, apparently, I have it a little bit too high. Well, apparently there was a little bit of a situation. Phil was in the lead and he hit a big washout at the bridge and his snowmobile got turned around. He went flying down the trail. Nobody got hurt and I was in the back, so I didn't get to see it. I guess I better go catch them now. Let's go have a look at Lake Superior. Okay, I think he's going to say something really important. Wait a minute. What was that? Look at that view behind me. Isn't that something? We're going to head into Grand Marais. We're going to get some fuel, and then we're going to head down to the Pine Stump Inn for supper. I was told the Pine Stump Inn has some of the best pizza around, and believe me, I've had a lot of pizza in my lifetime. I've had a lot of good pizza in my lifetime. I ordered my standard pepperoni, green pepper, and onion pizza, and it was the best pizza I ever had. You can just tell by the look on my face that this is some good pizza.
Yeah, I'm videoing me eating some pizza.
They don't make anything smaller than a 12-inch pizza, and everybody wanted their own pizza, so we had a lot of pizza, as you can see. Day number 1 complete. We had about a 200-mile day. We started out there where the triangle is. I tracked this on my Garmin. We rode south and then west, and then we worked our way north and west, and then that little leg over there to the extreme left was where the Bear Trap Inn is, and then we went north up by Lake Superior, back to Grand Marais, Pine Stump, and back to Newberry. Overall, a pretty good day. Got a little wrenching to do on one of the snowmobiles. My brother-in-law's sled broke something in the recoil. So anyways, found a couple guys with a trailer, and they hauled him back to Newberry. He was able to get the parts at a Skidoo dealer, so we'll get that fixed up the next day and hopefully regroup. Here we are, ready to start day number 2, and I think I'm the only one that's awake. I already been to breakfast, and I don't see any life in the other cabin, so I guess the 200-mile day yesterday kind of kicked everyone's butt. We got back about, I think, 11 o'clock last night, so yeah, I'm gonna get my sled checked over here, get it ready to go, get my water jugs filled up and all that good stuff, and hopefully we'll hit it here soon. The plan today is to head to Mackinac Island. Little early morning wrenching on the MXZ. What do we got going on here?
Placing the coil.
Yep, so yesterday, when we was at the Bear Trap, the MXZ wouldn't fire up, and that little deal in there stripped out, and got a new one, so we'll be back in business with this sled. Right across from Barry's Motel and Cabin, there's a little secondary trail. We crossed the road, and that'll take us over to the main trail. First off, we rode down to one of the local gas stations, filled up our sleds. Have another guy joining us today. Another guy drove up from Northeast Ohio that goes by AJ on this Polaris 850, so there will be 10 of us riding today, so this ought to be pretty interesting. think we're all here and ready to go. Looks like a tree full of bras. We made it down to St. Ignace. It was a little rough getting down here. The snow was thinner. The trails had good cover on them, but they were just packed and very icy. All right, we just had lunch here in St. Ignace, and we're going to break the group up now. Some of us are going to ride across the Christmas tree bridge over to Mackinac Island. Okay, so see that row of Christmas trees they got punched in the ice there? That is what they call the Christmas tree bridge. We're going to ride over to Mackinac Island. As you can see, there was not a lot of snow cover on the ice. This was not a big deal to do. I just wanted to say I snowmobiled over to Mackinac Island. I didn't actually clock it. I think it was about 3.5 to 4 miles across here one way. Everybody's sleds got a little warm because there wasn't any snow to come up and get on your heat exchanger underneath. I did have to stop and put my ice scratchers down, and then that took care of my sled. I was fine after that. I was able to bring up enough ice and stuff in there and keep it cool. But you can see the Christmas trees across here. So what they do is they drill in the ice, they drop a Christmas tree in, and that's everybody's line to go back and forth from St. Ignace over to Mackinac Island via snowmobile. There's no vehicles allowed over on Mackinac Island, so in the summertime you can get over here via boat, and in the wintertime, once it freezes up like this, then the islanders can ride a snowmobile, and you'll see some snowmobiles going back and forth here that'll have a sleigh, toboggan, or a tote behind them. They can come back to St. Ignace, get some groceries, supplies, whatever, and go back to the island. Now, personally, if I was living over on the island riding back and forth like this, I would have a heavily studded track, so you didn't have to worry about spinning out or sliding on the ice so much. I guess there was a few snowmobile trails over here, nothing great, but you had to have a special tag or permit for that, so we just rode across the island. I stopped, put the drone up in the air, took a couple pictures, and we let everyone's sleds cool down, and then we rode back. I popped my drone up and took a little video. I carried it with me every day, but this is the first and only time I popped it up during this trip. Well, what I found out, one of the guys rode over that kind of patrols the island here, and he said there's no drones allowed on Mackinac Island. Now, that did not come up on my app. Normally, if it's a no-fly zone, that does pop up on my screen, but he said that's actually an island rule. But if I walked out on the water and flew it over the water or the ice, there was nothing he could do about it. I just couldn't fly it from the actual land. So anyways, no big deal. Took a couple pictures, video here, and landed it. I can now say I've been to Mackinac Island twice in my life. I was here once in the summertime and now once in the wintertime. I was over here many years ago with my family. We brought the boat over from Mackinac City to the island, and it was pretty neat. Like I said, no automobiles allowed over here, but you can ride a bicycle or hike. But it is a pretty neat place. The four of us that rode over here talked for a little bit, let the sleds cool down. I left my scratchers down. I had no problem with heating going back. And I did not video going back, but anyways, we worked our way up to Trout Lake from here once we got back to St. Ignace. We got back to the mainland, and then we rode up to Trout Lake. We stopped for gas, and they had the groomer setting out back here, so let's just take a quick walk around it with the GoPro. We're now rolling into downtown Trout Lake, Michigan. Well, it looks like we caught up to the rest of the gang. They're all here at the Buckhorn.
Hey guys.
Still alive. How was it? We saw the bottom of the lake as we came back.
After we all had something to drink, warmed up a little bit, we chatted, and the 10 of us got together, and the plan was to ride back to Newberry, make it back there sometime, hopefully shortly after dark, and all have supper together at Joshua James. So, all 10 of us in line, I went in last place. We didn't get very far down the trail. You can see the trees were pretty tight here, and everybody come to a stop.
I couldn't stop.
Scott was in the lead on his skidoo coming out of Trout Lake. We just got about 2 miles down the trail, and a deer had popped out in front of him. There was nothing he could do, and it looks like the deer did not make it. At least he killed it instantly, but some damage to his sled. So see if we can get him fixed up here and get back to Newberry.
All right, so we got a little deer damage here. I ran back to the gas station in Trout Lake, and they did not have duct tape, but they had some packing tape and some hose repair tape. So we're getting Scott's sled fixed up, and we'll be back in business here in no time.
Little roadside auto body repair by Dr. Phil.
Oh, that's right. You gotta go more.
Okay, why don't you get a piece that comes right here and come underneath and come over to some more smooth.
I wasn't that close.
Well,
I didn't see the deer, but I saw shit all over the place.
All right, it looks like a quality repair job was done here. That should get a snowmobile back to Newberry. Doesn't appear there was any mechanical damage or anything to any steel, just mostly plastic cosmetic. So hopefully he'll be able to ride tomorrow and everything will be good. And then when he gets back home, he can take it into his dealer, get an estimate, and get her fixed up. I've heard stories of guys hitting deers on snowmobiles and the deer comes right over the hood, knocks the guy off the snowmobile, and that could be a bad deal. But anyways, nobody was hurt, just the deer and the snowmobile, but we are on our way back. We all stopped and had dinner at Joshua James Restaurant just outside of Newberry. This is what we rode today, so it was about 150 miles. We didn't get near the miles in today. Obviously, going over to the island, we stalled some time there, whatnot, riding in a group of 10. But we went down one way and then come back the other. But overall, still a good day of snowmobile, and snow conditions were pretty good. As I said earlier, they were a little light down by Mackinac Island or St. Ignace down in that area, but it was definitely enough to ride.
good morning, everybody. Day number 3 up here in Newberry. Just had a pretty decent night's sleep here at the Berry's Cabins. Just went up to Zeller's, had breakfast, had me some big old hot cakes, scrambled eggs, bacon, and we got a dusting of snow here last night, so get the cat cleaned off here, check it over, and ready to hit the trails again. It's going to be a little cold today, and the other day I took my hand guards off to get this handlebar bag on, so I'm going to put these handlebar covers on. So you got these climb, I don't know, gauntlets, whatever you want to call them. We'll put those over there. I can slip my hand through there and be an extra layer of protection there.
The high today is supposed to be 8 degrees, so I'm going to run the heated face shield as well. We're going to split up today, so I'm going to ride with Dale, Kent, and Scott. So just 4 of us. Kent knows a lot of back trails up here, some fire trails, logging roads, and whatnot. So he's going to take us around. We're going to head up to Pine Stump and then kind of cut cross country up towards the falls, Whitefish Point up in that area. These 3 guys were staying at a different hotel, so I just met them at the gas station downtown. We filled our sleds up and then hit the trail, heading up towards Pine Stump. This is my first time ever running a heated face shield. I do have some heated 509 goggles with my helmet, but I got this new 509 helmet here. Has the heated shield, plugs into the accessory there. Other than having the cord in the way, it works out pretty good.
Looks like he's got a roll of black duct tape.
She's got some of this Gorilla tape.
Yeah, that might be better.
But I'm wondering if I
As we worked our way north, it kept snowing, and they probably got another 3-4 inches of new snow, so that worked out pretty nice.
Kind of cool, man.
I've never seen one of these for real.
Where were we going to eat dinner then?
I don't know. Well, going in to grab some lunch here. Got about 80 miles in so far. A little bit cold, but those things I got over my handlebars and
Inside here at the brewery, I got a bowl of their beer cheese soup. I got their sausage sandwich and fries, and it was pretty good. It was good to warm up. As I said, it was only 8 degrees here today. Right before this trip, I bought the new GoPro Hero 10, and I bought the X Mod lens for it. I've talked about in other snowmobile videos how my camera gets bumped, and sometimes it's pointing down at the handlebars, or it's pointing up too high, whatnot. So with this X Mod lens, it takes a broader range, and you can actually lock it so it always gets the horizon. So I wanted to try it out before I left here. So what's everybody's thoughts? I mean, I don't plan on doing a lot of filming using this lens, but it is an option, and it is kind of neat, I think. Just coming back into the edge of Newberry right here. So this parking lot here on the edge of town is real close to Timber Charlie's, a good place to eat when you're in the area. And you kind of got to take the trail through town here. Some spots can be a little thin, a little sketchy, but anyways, that little bit of snow they did get today helped. But you can see this is a wet area through here, or just back from here, so this trail gets pretty dirty, or as they say, snert, which is a mix of snow and dirt. And this is what I tracked. This is what we rode on day number 3 right here. So you can see we started out in Newberry, worked our way over up Pine Stump north, and then we did that other loop up there close to Whitefish Point, was up at the falls today and all that. So had a pretty good ride here. And we're going to have dinner at Timber Charlie's before we head out of town. So lots of good food here. I had fish here the other night, the first night we got here. Tonight they had these sirloin tips on special. Got those, and those were really good. And we beat the crowd. We got here at a good time. And that's going to do it for my final day here in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Did a little over 160 miles today. Just rode with 4 of us total, and we split up today. Did a lot of off-trail riding, so forth. Nothing too extreme, but we did get some fresh snow. Some areas had a couple inches of new snow, so that was pretty nice. And yeah, going to get the sled loaded up here and head back to Ohio in the morning. And I guess we got some snow at home, so I might get some farm riding in. So anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I don't know if I'm going to make it back to Michigan this year. Next snowmobile trip I got planned is Wyoming in March. February is kind of booked up with work and so forth, so don't know how much, but maybe I'll get back up here end of February, early March. Anyways, thanks for watching again. Here's a little bonus footage. It was mighty cold when I left the next morning, minus 27. And then here is the GPS tracking of everything we rode this year and last year when I was up here. So covered a good portion of the eastern UP in the last 2 years.